We are live.
We'll. That's how we start every podcast.
Yeah, my voice is going to sound even better on these magic mics, isn't
I just want to prepare people for the depth of Will's voice.
It's not that deep though, really, is it?
No, it's not. Well, I don't even know why I'm mocking for it, because it's a normal voice for a normal person. So welcome to this podcast on StrengthofMind.coach.
Podcast 15.
Damn, you remembered.
Fuck. Yes.
Get in there. Today we're in Success 4 Studios in Norwich.
Actual studios,
which is
pretty.
It's pretty. Yeah, we're doing it properly today with Mr. Richard Willett.
Hello. I'm here.
Willett is here. The man who is responsible for ruining the time zones, or at least his descendant.
Ancestors. Is that right?
His descendant and his ancestor.
Would be more ones that I've had.
No, but you are the descendant of he who fucked the time zones.
Who fucked the time zones?
She wasn't called time zone. She was called Nan.
So Richard's great-grandfather?
Great, I think.
Great-great-grandfather is responsible for British summertime.
Yeah, it was.
British summertime being...
sunny.
Yeah.
The change of times that is most suitable for farmers.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Was put into place by Grandpa Willett.
I'd so much prefer to be it's still dark in the morning and have an extra hour at night.
But when I used to go out clubbing back in the day, and you get to 12 or 1, and they say the club's about to close, suddenly you got another hour.
The club's about to close?
Well,
at 12 or 1?
Maybe 2 in the morning.
The fuck backwards town are we in? 12 or fucking 1?
It's
too late now. Everybody out.
You've all had enough of this.
Yeah, they've run out of beer.
Follow the cows.
We've all got work to do in the morning.
Yeah.
That's enough of that.
You can turn around and you go, well, actually,
I think you'll find we have another hour.
We've got another, and we call it Happy Willett Hour.
Happy Willett Hour.
Yeah.
So for those of you who've come here from Spartan Life Coach, it's a different concept, Spartan Life Coach. StrengthofMind.coach is an opportunity to talk about things that move beyond CPTSD and personality disorders. So we do occasionally touch on that stuff, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Depends what's been in the news really that week.
But it gives more scope for us to talk about whatever we want, really. Richard, ask me why we started this podcast.
Why did you start these podcasts?
Richard, I'm glad that you...
I was trying to get the we and the you, and then I just cocked it up at the end. Yeah.
Should we do it again? Go on.
Yes. Richard, why did you start these podcasts? That was harder because we got the same name.
Yeah, and there's probably too much awkward eye contact there as well.
A little bit.
Okay. We've got to be kind to Danny, who's going to cut through. Okay.
We've got 3 cameras today.
Amazing.
What are we doing?
I'll look away from you.
Yeah. Richard, why did you start these podcasts as opposed to Spartan Life Coach podcasts that are different from these?
Richard, I'm glad you asked me that question. You remember how this started. I don't really remember how this started.
Because Rick can only have two pints, and then he's blathered.
Yeah.
So this came from a conversation in the pub, apparently.
Yeah, it was about October, maybe September, October. You'd just come back from Portugal. We're in the pub, realised we both watched Joe Rogan, realised we really liked it when he had scientists and really interesting people on, but neither of us find that type of American sort of humour particularly funny. So when he does a podcast with his mates, it's not that great.
Yeah, when it's like laddishness, pure laddishness, it's not great. So there is like a sort of a taste or a hunger for maybe something that's a little bit intelligent,
more English,
a bit more, intellectually stimulating. Like Joe Rogan shows at their absolute best star, but then maybe with a slightly more English flavour. So like a crap version of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, a crap funny version of Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
That's a good good specifics to go for, I believe.
But it opens up the scope then to say, okay, we want to talk about history, we want to talk about anthropology, sociology, whatever. I don't think I've never really thought it's fair to go, okay, here's Spartan Life Coach. It's kind of developed into mainly being focused on narcissism and CPTSD. So then go, right now I'm going to push history and politics on you. It's a bit, I don't think you should do it.
You wanted to spread your wings, didn't you?
I wanted to spread me wings.
You felt like an angel descending up.
Descending up.
Descending up.
Yeah. Just listen to that.
For being
myself.
held down.
Yeah.
You put DMT in his coffee, didn't you?
It's called tea for a reason.
Angels are descending up, man. Descending up.
So, guys, anybody's watching this, you can ask questions, but they don't have to be all about narcissism. It doesn't have to be about personality disorders. It can be about anything
at all.
Like.
We'll probably swerve all CPTSD and personality disorder related questions.
Oh, well, that's
So they all just
gone.
go. Yeah, everyone's just gone.
There are now 0 viewers. You can talk about whatever the fuck you like.
So, guys, please do send in some questions. It would be great to chat to you and have some more fun. Because we've got a couple of, actually, just tell them about the lives that are coming up later today. Because we're doing a whole day of lives, pretty much.
We are doing a day of lives. Glad I only had 4 hours sleep last night. So at 5 o'clock today, we're doing a paid for webinar that's going to be on breaking the trauma bond of a narcissistic abuser, which it's pretty intense. That's going to be a pretty heavy one. But the course it's rock solid. I'm going to give people some practical tools that will help them to overcome the power that somebody who's narcissistically abused them would have over them in the months and years after the relationship has stopped. And then at 8 o'clock today, free for all, live Q&A on Spartan Life Coach, CBDSD, narcissism, whatever the hell people want to talk about, their favorite pizza toppings,
poo stories.
Your favorite poo story.
Your favorite poo stories.
Yeah.
That actually has become like a linchpin of the podcast. Do you have a favorite poo story?
I heard your poo story.
Right.
Yeah.
And
people love that story. That's one of their favorite of anything we talked about.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Really disturbing to me.
Yeah.
That's their favorite
I
thing.
have a good the monkeys throwing poo at my friend Adam Bridger, who was he had a lot of money, and they threw it and it hit him right in the face. That was a good one.
Yeah,
Where
but
did this
when was
happen?
the last time you shit yourself though?
Or 6 or 7 minutes ago.
It's all quite loose down there, right?
It has been for a while.
Certain lifestyle choices will eventually catch up with you in time.
Yes, they will do. Choices were the word we talked about them peeing in our pants last time. So
Peeing in the pants.
pee in our pants.
Oh, PE in
Not
the pants.
peeing in your pants.
Peeing in your
The last
PE
time-
pants.
yeah.
That's a very niche tag in the porn world. Peeing in your PE pants.
Someone said, Tomorrow Kid said poo already.
Poo? So soon?
Miss Marie 1102 says it's too early for poo. Depends in the where you live.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair,
Yeah, I mean it's
in Australia they're already flinging the stuff at each other, aren't they?
When they're not shagging kangaroos.
Yeah.
Josephine Scurry says, I thought they meant poo as in the bear.
Oh, that's so sweet. You
that's
precious
actually
and
quite
naive person.
Although they fucked it, haven't they?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Jesus, who's fucked what?
Winnie the Pooh, it's the only cartoon where they don't just try and kill each other. I mean, it's just all nice, isn't it? And they're happy and all that. And it was all independent, and fucking Disney have bought it and they're bringing out a film, and it's just ruined the whole thing, destroyed my childhood.
Did you want to fight in it then?
No, that's the point. I don't want to fight in it.
No.
I don't want it to be Tom and Jerry and all the killing and Roadrunner and stuff. Just something nice and English and really British.
I don't think they make cartoons like that anymore.
No, Tom and Jerry's just smashing. Oh, well, to be fair, I haven't watched cartoons. Yeah, I suppose. It has been a good 20 years since I was watching.
You're imagining that
Yeah.
the cartoons are like they still were in the early 90s when you would have been 8 years old. That was still Tom and Jerry and Wile E. Coyote. They banned all that by about 1999.
Banned? Why?
Tom and Jerry's banned, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it actually got banned.
Tom and Jerry was
and
banned.
not it's banned. It's not shown on British TV anymore.
And Wile E. Coyote and
Wile E. Coyote, I don't know, but Tom and Jerry,
Is it banned?
if you actually look at the amount of violence in it, and there's a little bit of racism. Well, not racism.
Oh, there is a bit of racism in
Well,
there.
no, that's a misuse of the word racism. It's a bit tone deaf. It's just. Do you not know what I mean?
Thomas?
I kind of get you. Yeah.
Thomas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not race. That's not the proper use of the word racism, but it's not great.
Yeah.
So they just said, yeah, no, you can't show it anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
Can you get it on
can't show it.
YouTube? I don't
Of course,
suppose you checked
course.
it.
So you're allowed South Park and you can watch all of that, but you're not allowed Tom and Jerry. To
Apparently
be fair,
not.
they don't put South Park on
No, it's on
after school.
That's
like,
for adults.
Teletubbies.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and culture has changed. Everything has changed. So if you actually watch a full episode of Tom and Jerry now, it's pretty violent. Like they're beating the fuck out of each other with weapons. And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It always gets to TNT as well.
Always gets
it does, yeah.
Yeah,
an
and the
explosion.
wall falls down and
There's a lot of TNT in it. I don't even recognise that.
Yeah. We all knew what TNT was as kids, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's the thing that goes boom.
Yeah.
The ting go boom.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've stopped all that now.
Tits and thighs.
Tits and thighs is TNT. Absolutely. I'm glad that you took my mind there and away from the hideous violence of Tom and Jerry. Hideous, horrifying violence.
So we've got some people commenting. We've got some good comments on here. People seem to be enjoying it. Kangaroos aren't for shagging. Thank you for clearing that up.
But only for Australians. So,
We write that. Well,
we're not meant to, but you know, they
you
can.
bloody ponds. Leave our kangaroos alone.
You've got your chickens.
Stick to your own wild stock.
Oh, I've never stuck to a chicken.
Oh.
Kangaroos aren't for shagging. We write them. Oh, it's gone up. You had this problem before. Go for a comment and
It just shoots up the screen. Yeah.
Well, we understand. Oh, kangaroos aren't for shagging. We ride them to school to avoid the drop bears.
What's a drop bear?
What's a drop bear? Now there's a topic for conversation. Tomorrow, kids. So tomorrow, what's a drop bear?
You'll always, whenever you speak to an Australian, they'll just casually throw in something that you didn't know before that is utterly horrendous, that they see as totally normal about living in the country of Australia. Like, oh, a drop bear, it's every day the thing that kills you when you're 8 years old.
Well, one of the worst, like a funnel web or something, is native to either Sydney or Melbourne, isn't it? Apparently they're fucking everywhere.
The most dangerous, most poisonous, nastiest thing. There was a girl, Australian girl I was going out with, and she was talking about when she was a kid, if she wanted to go up the side of the house when she was young, they were taught to like do this as they're going up the sides of the house, so that if the hand hit the spider web, the spider would sting the hand and not the face, because it's easier to treat a wound on. And I was like, what country are you living in? But then when I went to Australia, I went to Perth and I got in the sea, and I'd only got up to my knees and an alarm went off and they were like, there's a tiger shark there. And I was like, it's a tiger and a shark that has grown together into a mutant thing. It has like tiger's face with a shark's body.
They're the most aggressive sharks as well. I mean, they're the ones that will come into shallow water.
That's where they live. They just hang out, and like all the Australians were running out, and I was like, is that actually a shark alarm? And they went, yeah. It was on Scarborough Beach, which apparently is where shark alarms were born, because it was such a problem. And I was like, so the alarm's going off. And I said to one guy, can I still go in? And he went, yeah, if you want to. We're all getting out there. It actually come, they said it was like really weirdly close. It'd come like 200 or 300 meters, and it was a full-sized adult. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we don't fuck around. Even the Australians were like, stay out of the water.
Fuck.
Then when that passed, I got in, and things were hurting me.
Were all the South Africans still in the water?
Of course they were.
Yeah, punching and fighting with the shark.
Push-ups.
Yeah,
push-ups under the water.
Where you're going.
Then you get into the sea, and things hurt you in the sea. And I was like, I said to some other Australian, why does the sea hurt? And they were like, oh, stingers. What's that? And why are you saying it so casually? So there's just stuff that just floats around in the sea that stings the shit out of you whilst you wait to be eaten by a fucking tiger shark. Australia. We love it.
Only job in life is to sting.
They have no other purpose but stinging humans. I don't even know what, but there's nowhere else I've been to in the world where you just get in the sea and people just accept that they're going to be stung. And they were like laughing at me, like, why do you even care? I was like, well, something is burning my skin.
As bad as a nettle sting, or as bad as a, what level are we talking of sting?
Like 70% of a nettle sting. But
like specific.
all over you and all the time whilst you're swimming. But they just
frustrating.
They just shrug it off. I think they get like a bit of an adrenaline buzz off it. Do a few push-ups, drink a beer, punch a kangaroo, have a barbie,
then shag a kangaroo.
In that order. A drop bear apparently is a koala bear.
Oh right. Okay.
Why are they afraid of koala bears?
Why has it got a drop bear?
But aren't they like cuddly, lovely, fairy things?
That's what you think.
That's what you think. Definitely not. I've heard they're quite vicious.
Don't they just eat eucalyptus leaves?
Yeah.
Koala bears.
Koala bears. I've heard they're quite vicious. I could be wrong.
All right.
I can't remember who told me. Probably someone told me in a pub. I'm sure they've never met a koala bear in their life. But I've heard they're quite vicious. Yeah.
Right.
It can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were more like sloths because of the stuff they ate. They were just really slow and slept a lot.
Well, not everywhere else in the world, yes, but in Australia they have the most virulent, violent breed you can imagine.
Fuck.
Then, as Al Jeff said, what do you think of psychedelics for healing purposes?
Do you want to go on that one? Well,
I don't know anything about psychedelics. Yours, man. I just think it's a bit. I don't get why you'd use them, obviously, because I haven't done them to heal oneself. The only thing I've heard about is bad trips where you can't get off.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, I think. I think what people are using psychedelics for, when it does work in the healing process, is it forces the brain into a state of neuroplasticity, so that new meanings and new formations can be built inside of the brain. When we're looking to overcome trauma, you have to alter your map of reality. If your map of reality is really stiff, you're not going to overcome any trauma. And if you can't overcome, you can't learn, you can't heal. But it's, to my way of thinking, based on my experience of psychedelics, it's a bit of a brutal and haphazard way of getting that job done. You know, there are mental exercises that are quite gentle and not illegal.
Or you can read a book.
You can read a book.
So what's that stuff? It's called. It begins with A. I can never pronounce it.
Ayahuasca.
That's it.
Ayahuasca.
What does that do?
Ayahuasca is DMT effectively endogenously in the body. Exogenously, it's not. So they take the root of a vine and then something else that grows nearby, mix it together in a brew. You drink it, and then it becomes. Well, we make DMT in the brain, and then it causes this massive release of DMT apparently, as well as making you quite sick and needing a poo. Back to poo.
None of that.
Back to poo again.
None of that sounds really nice. Though.
So you're in a jungle.
Like a really nice feeling from it, and then you need to throw up and have a poo. Is that because you need to run, get away from things?
It's throw up and poo because of the demons that are chasing it.
Well, I heard that like the reason why you throw up and poo when you're scared happens is because you're trying to empty all of your body of anything that weighs you down.
I've never been so scared. I've shit myself.
And throw up.
I'm thrown up.
Well,
Have you ever been?
No, I've obviously not been scared enough. Have I?
Welcome to Norfolk.
Yeah.
The day ain't over yet. So Will hunting begins at 3.
Goodwill hunting.
What's the Nicolas Cage film that you remade and it was dreadful, but the first one was Wicker Man. I've just had this whole like Wicker Man.
Did he throw up and shoot
Norfolk.
himself in that?
No,
Bees, not the bees.
Yeah, but I do feel like I'm going to be chased by people with
pickaxes.
Yeah, stuff they use in farms, sheaves or whatever they're called.
Sheaves.
What's it called? I don't know what it's
I
called.
don't know. It's shears.
Scythe.
Scythe. That's it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
helped him.
Yeah,
I don't fucking help him. I just sit there and I'm
Telling him, Jesus.
the shitting and throwing up, it might be to make you lighter. It might also to be to offer something else to a predator to consume. Possibly.
That's a really good theory.
Yeah.
Although you just run up behind me and said,
"Would you instead a little soup? A little."
I have tasted myself.
It is not so bad.
Not so bad. Not all the way out for the back end.
Bats guts yesterday, but I am scavengers. There you go. Bye bye, and then run away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm probably also like I used to teach that in martial arts, and then as time went on, I read a little bit
You used
more.
to teach people to shit themselves and throw up.
Yeah, as hard as you can. Just shit, blur, and run. Shit, blur, and run. That was like the first kata. Hi. And then run.
And then leg it. Yeah.
And then anybody who's trying to attack you would be like, seriously, dude.
The fart and life coach.
Yeah, the fart and life coach. So I read a bit more about it, and it seems more likely to just be that there's a huge surge of adrenaline that goes through your body to make you fight or run away. And the byproduct of that powerful endogenous drug, like any drug that you would take, could be to constrict the muscles inside and just make your shit liquefy and to make you throw up.
This is all good stuff.
Wait, have you ever been so scared that you nearly pissed yourself?
No.
Have you ever been so scared you nearly pissed yourself?
Nearly isn't the word.
Have you pissed yourself from being afraid?
Oh, I don't know if it's from being afraid.
Well, you're just really, really
aroused.
Really yeah.
What was the emotion you felt at the moment
It's
that you?
wet. That's not an emotion, is it?
No.
How did you feel? Wet pants. Because I pissed myself, as I just told you.
Before we met on this date.
Why did we come to this restaurant? Sorry, I pissed myself.
because the chairs are dark, and on the chairs it doesn't show the piss stains.
Boom. Always thinking, love.
Think ahead.
I'm the kind of man you want to marry.
Yeah, apart from the pissy smell.
Why did you piss yourself? Why did that happen?
I don't know.
No?
I was very, very young.
Oh, we're not talking about like an adult story.
Oh no, I'd probably done it when I was drunk quite a few times.
Right,
But that isn't like if you've not really been scared. You've never been like properly scared in your adult life.
No. I mean, the thing we were saying that the most scared I can remember being recently is I went to the top of the very, very large tower in Las Vegas. It has all of the theme park rides on the top.
On the top?
Yeah.
Sounds terrifying.
Yeah, so
dreadful idea.
Wife and my friends were all going on all these theme park
I mean,
rides.
they put a slide up there.
Yeah, there is.
Why don't you just go less high?
No, that's what they went on. One of the theme park rides is like the PlayStation at Alton Towers or Blackpool? Anyway, like the PlayStation, but the opposite way around. It fired you off the skyscraper.
What?
And then stops just just when it looks like you're gonna fall straight off the edge, and then brings you back and fires you off again.
I've never understand people that.
No, I don't get it. So, but there was another
Punch
thing.
me in the kidneys.
Yeah, well,
torture.
you can do not a bungee jump, but like a slow descend with like you're attached to 2 wires on both sides, and you just jump off and you go. So my wife and one of my friends tried to do that, but they said you have to go to book and stuff, so we weren't going to do it. But I was up the top, and I couldn't go actually outside because it was too much wind. And then I was sat down, I was trying to have a coffee, and I was looking at this window, and the only thing that was going through my head is run at that window, run at that window, run at that window, run at that window, run at that window. So I had to go downstairs and sit at the bottom for them.
I really thought you were going to say, so I had to run at the fucking window.
No, I was going to run at the fucking window, so I had to go.
I know what you mean. That sort of don't press the red button.
Yeah.
Feeling in your head.
Yeah.
Pound it like a blind pigeon.
I thought so. Did you wet yourself?
No. It wasn't that far. That's the most scared I've been, but I can remember recently.
Yeah, no. My friend got stood by a horse himself, but we were about 12.
Yeah.
One time.
There was horses all over the place in Norfolk in them days.
And now?
We got rid of them.
Did you eat them all?
I didn't eat all of them. A few.
It wasn't me.
Not all of them. It's got some good comments on it. People seem to urine for a treat around here.
It's a delicacy in some parts.
Great conversation while I eat my breakfast, guys. That's okay, Annie. You are welcome.
Is she doing ketogenic though, or is she eating cornflakes or something?
What are you eating, Annie?
Yeah.
I did a ketogenic breakfast this morning.
You did.
And then I was whinging like fuck 2 hours later. That was hungry, wasn't I?
We train too hard. Gestation, too much cardio.
Ketogenic. Basically, you try and reduce your carbohydrates to almost zero. You
starve yourself.
Oh, well, no, you still can eat protein and fat.
Okay.
You eat like a massive amount of fat, a relatively small amount of protein, well, a medium amount of protein, and then the rest, all your carbs, might be a few vegetables, just enough for you to get fiber in so you can still do poopy.
Oh,
to poop again. Back to poop again.
Pippa Daisy Chain asked, my daughter is asking if Richard has ever been so scared he has nearly pissed himself. I don't know how old your daughter is, Pippa.
I met Pippa and Pippa's daughter. She's of age to hear foul stories.
Okay.
Yes, once I had a very, very frightening paranormal experience in a house where I was on my own in Spain. And I ran out of the house and got in the car and went for a drive to try and clear my head. And foolishly, given that I was already scared, I drove into the mountains of southern Spain. And then I got into the mountains of southern Spain and I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm a fully grown man. I don't believe in ghosts. I'm going to stop this car right now. I'm going to turn off all the lights and I'm going to sit here out in the countryside and sit in the dark with the windows open.
Just to punish yourself. Your brain just goes, no, punish yourself to make it better. Punish yourself to make it better.
I was testing the boundaries. Well, I turned off all the lights in the car and it was pitch black, silence. And I realized what a city person I am because I'd actually gotten far enough away that there was just no noise, just nature and starlight, what little starlight there was. And then the sound of like distant creatures making sound. And I nearly pissed myself. And I switched the car back on and I drove back to the lighted, heated apartment that I'd been in. I was like, I'll stick with the fucking ghosts. You can keep me countryside.
Yeah.
Shove it up your arse.
Yeah. I always think, ghost things don't scare me. I think, well, what's the worst that can happen? You die.
You do not challenge the spirits.
Phoenix Star said, it's a good boy. Phoenix said, I thought this was going to be a podcast on philosophy, psychology, and sociology and answering questions from the audience, please. That one will be at 8 o'clock this evening on Spartan Life.
Okay, Grumpy Pants, ask us a question.
This one is about, well, you might find some helpful hints in this. We're talking about urine, feces, and heights at the moment.
Yeah.
What's more to one? Is it dissociate or dissociate? Sarah Clark said. I'm not sure.
Is what dissociating? Oh.
I love sausage for breakfast, says Georgia.
Well, that's handy. Good to know. Good to know.
I want some sausage, says Georgia.
All right, Georgia. Calm down, love. Maybe you should switch this off and open another tab.
Yeah. It's not the tab for you.
Just put sausage into Google. Good luck to you.
Richie, how long have you been interested in words?
Words. I think. I was moved to Portugal when I was about 8 years old. So obviously, you start learning another language, and you have to learn. I wasn't aware that there were other languages and other cultures or anything like that. And I just went, "Oh right, okay, this is a thing. Fine. These people live like this. We live like that." Da, da, da. And as I started to sort of decode what people were saying to me, from the age of 8 up, I realized the significance of words. Like if you say something this way and I say something that way, it has an altered meaning, and that words can be extremely powerful. So then as I got into my teens, I found out that words don't come from nowhere. They're not just made up. Words are history. Every word is a story. Every word comes from a certain place. It might be a blending of 2 different cultures that brought that word together, and everything has a history. Everything has a story behind it. And if you study etymology, you can find out some really cool things about history. For example, Richard, the word salary comes from the word sal, which in Portuguese means
Salt.
You eat Portuguese dinner tables all the time, mate.
No.
So
I understand them with their nasally voice. It sounds like it does sound like they're constantly singing, but you know,
you're just in the Portuguese.
I know, I like it. I love the sound of it.
So that comes from the Roman soldiers. They would be paid in salt because it was a precious resource. So that's your salary, is actually the amount of salt that you're going to get this month, and you're not fucking getting any, lad.
That's rude.
Someone was explaining to me a word. Someone was explaining a word to me at work this week, and it was a Roman thing, and it was, did they kill every 10th man in that battalion and fought badly? And what I can't remember the word.
Decimation.
Decimation.
So 10 deci.
Yeah.
Decimal.
They did it in 2 ways. One way was obviously really bad. They'd line them all up, and then they'd have the 10th man killed. And then the other way we do it, we wouldn't pull straws, but we'd do something akin to pulling straws, and the obviously in tens, and the one with the shortest one, his other comrade would be made to kill him. Yeah, that one's particularly bad. I mean, the first one would come as a bit of a shock, wouldn't it? You wouldn't have a lot of time to think about it or worry about it, but the second one's a little bit
more torture.
Ooh, yeah.
Fuck. Decimation would always be killed by your other 9 comrades, and sometimes they'd make them beat their comrades to death with their shoes.
Shoes?
Yeah, just to make it particularly awful. It wasn't like take a sword out and ram them through the heart. You beat them to death for cowardice, for ill discipline. It just I like the salary one because it reminds us of the fact that we still, in some senses, we still live in Rome.
You gotta buy some shit as well, don't you?
You need to buy some shit.
Shoes.
Yeah, shoes. Lots of shoes.
My shoes have gone missing, and my mate.
I'm amazed, and I'm covered in his brains, hair and scalp.
Phoenix Star asks, what do you think of the incel movement and the attacks in Toronto? I don't know what that means. So.
I don't know what the incel movement is. Either.
What's the incel movement? We need to a little bit more on that.
Is it just about the guy that's just driven into about 20, 30 people in a truck? You think he's killed 8 or 9, but I didn't know it was a whole thing. I thought he was just a bit of a psycho.
No, not quite sure what the incel movement
when you're
is.
doing a podcast that covers current affairs, we probably should have read some newspapers this week.
I've been working. I've had a load of work to do.
Not been
we haven't got newspapers in Norfolk yet. So.
It's word of mouth here, isn't it?
It's word of mouth. We
were talking on the ride down here though that Trump is obviously mind fucking all of us.
Oh, because of the North-South Korea thing.
How's he managed that?
I don't know how he's managed to get out of bed. To be honest, clothes on.
Could you imagine? It's not even been close of any other president in the last 25, 30, 40 years of creating a system in which those 2 countries are going to speak to each other.
I suspect that what seems to be going on just isn't what is actually going on, and we're not really saying what's actually going on there. But it means that you're in the awkward position where you kind of are forced to give Trump, or at least whatever system is running behind him, some kind of credit, or secretly they went, look, the aliens are here. They parked just by Earth. If we don't start fucking sorting our shit out, they said they're going to enslave us all again.
Yeah.
You know, like the Anunnaki did last time.
Yeah.
We don't want to be slaves. We have to evolve. And then we go from like a cat D civilization to a cat C civilization. We have to denuclearize. We have to sort our shit out. And the aliens are giving us like 10 years to like sort your shit out.
So they went, Trump's the man to do it.
The man to do it.
So Trump took Kim Jong-un in his special magical spaceship out to space to meet with the aliens. And the aliens went, dude. And he went, oh, I didn't know that there was, wow. Okay, I'll go and shake hands with the other dude.
Who's this? He's Chinese. Korean.
Dude. Next question.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Lost it now. Actually, that goes well into, there was one thing, what humans be like in 50 years' time.
Jesus.
But really boring.
Maybe. Fat, hairless, sexless.
No alcohol.
Miserable. We'll be in the pods by then, and we'll have willingly got inside of the Matrix pods to have our energy harvested, as long as we can live our beautiful virtual realities of infinite love.
Did you go to watch
by
that
1968 we'll be living in pods.
By 1968.
Norfolk. 2068.
You're on like a different calendar and
Completely different.
I thought you were referencing something from like the 40s.
Like a film.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know this reference.
Yeah. That was like,
reference.
It was like the prequel to 1984.
Have you been to see the new Spielberg film though?
No.
Yes.
No.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was really good, but you could definitely see that being in the near future. When I say near, 20, 30 years, maybe.
Maybe sooner than that. People mainly, the world is so screwed in the concept. I'm not giving too much of the story away, that everybody chooses to live inside of a permanently ongoing computer game. There's its own, what do they call that in computer games? A closed world, an open world computer game of infinite space with infinite characters playing infinite different games
And infinite possibilities.
within the game.
A little bit like Second Life, but a bit
On a grander scale.
less. Yeah.
Someone was telling me about Second Life years ago, and I can't put my
I played
finger
it
on
for
it.
about 3 weeks while I was drunk, and I just couldn't play it anymore.
You were drunk for 3 weeks.
No, well, actually, I'd like to say I wasn't, but I probably was.
Was it while you were a student?
No.
No. No.
This was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played it for about 3 weeks. But it's just, I think it.
What's it do?
You just wander around. You do what you should be doing outside. You do it in the computer.
So like
It's like a
GTA.
second life.
Yeah, they're like people. It is. Your first life's rubbish.
I need a second life.
I
This
need a
one
second life.
stinks.
I won't sort this one out. We'll start again.
Yeah.
You go to like strip clubs and stuff, not in it,
Mhm.
and then you don't feel as bad.
Because it's not really you.
It's not really you.
That's interesting. There's a theory through chatting to Will
It's a bit
one day
bizarre.
that I thought might have some legs to it, which is people may, and this will get worse in the next 50 years. Psychologically, I think physically we probably won't change that much, but psychologically we might. That you would have your own personal ego, identity, psychologically, and then you'll develop a second ego, and it will just split, and that will be your social media ego. Remember we were talking about people who do stuff online and they're so invested in it.
Yeah, but you linked it to that Freudian concept, didn't you? The sky is green or the sky is blue, but I think it's green, and I refuse to admit that it's blue, and I'm going to say it's green, so it's green.
It's the fetishist split. I know very well that my life sucks, but I do not want to know, so therefore I do not know. It's like a willful disavowal of reality. That's a fetishist split.
Yeah,
but we've already got that. I mean, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube already provides people with the capacity to create an online avatar, but if instead of it being like a ridiculous purple alien or something, it's a picture of them just with a few filters on and a bit of Photoshop and things touched up. And I think we're moving into a time where, say this is your online ego and that's your real ego. I can insult your online ego and it will have an impact on you that would be worse than if I insult the real you.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we will see more of that. It will have its own, in the DSM, it will have its own personality disorder term. You know, social media disorder will be a thing, and it will be the splitting of the human ego.
Well, you just said that. Emma Keith just asked, can you use a Facebook as reality and social media cause PTSD? And I think the falling into it is it's a bit odd.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm still not that read up on PTSD, but I know one thing we did think was really sad. We were out with our cousin, and I think it was after we were moving to the next bar, and he was like, "Wait, I've got to take a picture." And he took a picture, and it was like, and we were like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I've got to put it on." Does he use Snapchat or Instagram?
One of the two. He used both.
I've got to put them on because he was starting
to feel
anxious, but his friends might think when he wasn't having a good time.
What?
He couldn't just be with us and just have a good time.
Really?
He felt
it was a bit sad,
and he was open about it. He was like, "No, I feel really anxious all the time, not just now. If I'm not letting people know I'm having a good time." And I'm like, so if you had a really good time in reality, but in the social media world, you didn't let anybody know, how would you feel? Really, really upset. So would it diminish from the good time you were having in reality? Yes. So it was actually Zizek that said this, and then me chatting to Will gave me that split ego idea. Zizek said, well, he has a whole essay called The Reality of the Virtual. There is the virtual in reality, and there is virtual reality, but there is a reality to the virtual world. Zizek loves these inversions. The virtual world, the social media world, is growing in gravity. It's growing in mass. Previously, it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, it would be your online world would be about the real world. Well, now we're saying the real world is about the online world.
Yeah.
That's very much that balance. We've probably already hit that tipping point.
Yeah,
We've probably already gone past that. So that will become a full-blown personality disorder in time. To answer that question, I wouldn't say it necessarily would develop PTSD, but for people younger than 24 who are apparently, according to research I read the other day, using social media upwards of 5 hours a day, it will be traumatic. Definitely. If you're under the age of 24, you shouldn't be using social media for more than 5 hours a day and not expect it to have a traumatic impact on you, because
you're invested.
You're invested. We're all older. After 24, neuroplasticity kind of gets concretized. The ego boundaries get very hard. You become cynical. You block stuff. And we all know it's bullshit. So you look at a picture and you go, filtered, bullshit, nonsense, you know, attention whoring, away with you. When you're 18, 19, 20, you don't think that. You are still impressionable. And the adjective impressionable means you can push into the clay and it leaves an impression.
Yeah.
Because the neuroplasticity is still soft.
Yeah.
For these kids and young people, it's traumatic.
And then speaking to my friends, especially, but with teachers and a couple of Rick's mates, is that if you were bullied in school, you used to be able to get away from it. Like home was your sanctuary.
Yeah.
Whereas you speak to my friends with teachers now, especially with girls, they can never get away from bullies because they have to have Facebook. They have to have Instagram.
The point, that's what you're saying is a very good point, obviously. And you were saying that if they bully their online version of themselves, it's worse. Than,
It's really traumatic. Oh, really, really traumatic. I mean, one of my friends who was a teacher said that some of these girls are just in a constant state of just anxiety because they're being bullied constantly. I mean, it's not anything that the parents can do because they're not in that tech world. You know, these kids are learning to, people say it's brilliant, and it probably is brilliant, but they're learning to code at 5 and 6, aren't they? Whereas we were learning on ABC computers, you know. So I mean, I'm only 30. That's too far removed from me. I don't understand it.
No, I don't understand it either, but I think it's because we weren't brought up with it. So we see the withs and withouts.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have it and then it's had it. But if you've had it all the time.
What was the last thing you said before you said that?
Withs and withouts.
No. Then you spoke and then you said something and I place marked it. And it's
I said about the crossover from what Will was saying.
Oh, they're worse online. They're worse online.
Yeah.
So that's another point about PTSD and CPTSD and personality disorders. Yes, the online persona will be worse because Louis C.K. made this point with kids now, and he's seen it with his own teenage daughters. They're testing the boundaries of what they can and can't do, which is what kids are supposed to do. That's natural. If you see a kid behaving sadistically, or what we as adults consider sadistically, they're supposed to test their power. They're supposed to test what feeling cruel feels like, and they're supposed to do it and then go, ugh, that I've hurt that person. Empathy, that doesn't feel very nice. I'm not going to do that again. When you're online, you don't see the response. You don't see the meta communication and the hurt you're causing the person. Everybody online who trolls my videos, anybody's videos, they clearly feel like they're always punching up. So you have this weird power dynamic where the people online who are predatory feel disempowered and bitter. That's why they're doing what they're doing. But they clearly feel they're always punching up. So they don't think, oh, there's a line I shouldn't cross here, or fuck, I might actually really hurt you. Yeah. No, it's only online. Fuck it. I can go as far as I want. Sure. I'm going to be as crazy as I can possibly be. Oops, you killed yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that severe.
It's weird, Bones, because when we're talking about injunctions in culture and in society, we're saying now, because everyone's being told to take as much, drink as much, fuck as much, that they're going the opposite way. That's almost the injunction, but it sounds like the injunction in the virtual world is just to keep pushing. You better explain the superego injunction. So you got your superego injunction to enjoy. So your superego is your boundaries. So what you've been taught, what you culturally understand, and moral boundaries, and it can only exist in your culture, because obviously your moral boundaries aren't the same in a different culture.
Sure.
So your injunction to enjoy is with capitalism, or the theory of a hypothesis is that capitalism has taken over so much that it's affected our superego, whereas we don't feel bad that we're crossing boundaries. We feel bad that we're not enjoying, and we should continue to enjoy and constantly enjoy. And if we're not constantly and continually enjoying, we feel bad. So we can constantly and continuously consume. which if you strip all the way, which you keep stripping away moral boundaries, you end up with that Tarantino film Hostel, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's horrible. I couldn't even watch like the first bit of that.
It's a nasty concept. It's not a film that should have ever been made. But this thing, it's because we live in a post-ideological age. You know, we don't believe in religion. We don't believe in politics. We don't believe in culture. We believe in, it's kind of nihilistic. And that's fine. That's inevitable. Technology has brought us to truth, and it's a more scientific perspective. And now what? You know, obviously I'm very against, and Spartan life coaches, I spend most of my time helping people overcome shame, toxic shame, but there is such a thing as healthy shame. And if you remove healthy shame from society, you have psychopathic behaviors. And that's what we're getting, where there's an erosion of shame as a concept. So people just do whatever the fuck they want to do at any moment in time. And that generates a reward system for highly narcissistic patterns of behavior. And that's how a whole culture can become infected with narcissism.
Yeah.
So people will ask now, will there be this huge outbreak of people with NPD? And I will say no, because if a culture has become entirely narcissistic and everybody in the culture is the same, NPD is meaningless.
It's just a free-for-all.
Yeah, but it's genuinely when, I mean, I'm not an anthropologist, I'm a little bit I've read about history, it's generally when civilizations fall apart as well. Roman civilization, you know, just it's highly, highly, highly civilized, but that doesn't go hand in hand with moral boundaries and a reduction in violence. There was no boundaries and a massive thirst for violence, and that grew and grew and grew and grew, and it imploded.
Yeah.
So is there a timeline that we're on now as well? I would argue yes. I think you'd probably argue no.
Well, I was very, very apocalyptic and like we're fucked now.
I don't think apocalyptic. I just think we're on a way to, there's soon, maybe not in my lifetime, maybe just after my lifetime, or maybe come to the end, there's going to be a paradigm shift, a different type of way of doing politics, maybe a different type of way of doing something.
Might say it's something that technology is accelerating things, especially, you know, as artificial intelligence gets stronger, the computers get stronger. We might say it sooner than that. There needs to be, there will be, there doesn't need to be, there will be a kind of evolution, a revolution in the way people do things, for sure. See, we can stop talking about poo and be sensible for a minute.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be happy that we stopped talking about poo.
Can you grab the chewing gum packet?
I think I think what you've come up with there and what you were saying was there's a very extreme, there's no middle ground. It seems to be you're either very, very narcissistic or you're a real big people pleaser. And the middle ground seems to be going the healthy part of being human.
Yeah, absolutely. Who will teach you? Who's out there teaching you how to be a healthy, normal, boundaried human being? Well, that would have been the priest or the priestess or the religious figures, or would have been your mum and dad. But you know, who would dare in this culture to stand up and say, I shall be the paragon of moral virtue? Fuck off, mate. Shut I mean, nobody wants that. They want the Kardashians. They want Jersey Shore. They want The Only Way is Essex, or at least they think they do. They want to be able to say whatever the hell they want. They want their feelings to supersede facts, or at least they think they do. But the cost of that, I believe, will be catastrophic, ultimately.
Well, it's got to be, because if you're wiping out that feeling of stability and actually middle ground, where you're not a pushover, but you're also not going to go after everyone else, they're the people. There's only two groups of people that can create in the world. The people that are pushovers and people pleasing, these ones at the top who are going to have all the money and everything because they're nicking it, basically. So you're only going to have these people creating technology, creating music, films that have that theme in it, because that's all they know, that's all they do.
Well, I would argue that we live in a world that is created by narcissists and psychopaths because they push their way to the front. Sorry, Will.
No, but I would say that generally, from what I can see, is when anyone going back, especially sort of Victorian time, when we get so hyper rich and they fucked everything, drank everything, snorted everything, tend to turn to altruism because there's nothing else that makes you feel any good. So, I mean, if you look at Bill Gates now spending all of his money trying to blot out, is it the female or the male mosquito?
He wants to stop malaria.
But he's doing it by getting rid of one of the sexes, isn't he? I can't remember how. But then Lord Leverhulme got to a point where he was so ridiculously rich, but he just started building houses for his workers.
Lord Leverhulme.
No, but you don't have to. But you're saying a rich person.
He's where we're from. He's well, a lot of our family work for Levers. Well, most people know Levers, isn't it? Even in America, if you pick up a shower gel, it's often
Unilever.
It's reference Port Sunlight.
Yeah, yeah.
The address is Port Sunlight, which is where we're from.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere in the world, soap and cleaning products, Unilever. Yeah. So that the guy who was behind that, Lord Leverhulme, who had it's still in the Leverhulme Gallery, was the one of the original pictures of the scapegoat, which is that picture of the original scapegoat picture. Yeah.
Oh, and he did things like he had free. There was no NHS at the time, so he had doctors that he employed and he paid for, but looked after his workforce.
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit like
slavery.
Just a little bit. Tad slavish.
Yeah.
It was a bit slavey back in the early 1900s, but he was like, let's make it less slavey.
Yeah.
I think my factory workers will work better if all their fingers are still on their hands.
Yeah.
So that's where it was Lord Leverhulme that gave us, it's a broad statement, but it could be argued health and safety as a concept.
Yeah. 35-hour week.
Time and motion studies. What do you call the thing where it fits the human body? Ergonomics. Maybe not invented there, but developed and highly encouraged back in the day. Let's be kind to the workforce. Let's be efficient, but look after the humans who are working in this environment. And then
the other things, you have practical things, final salary pensions.
Yeah.
Actually being able to retire, not work till you're dead.
We sound like Levers fanboys.
We are. I'm a massive Levers fanboy. I'm not lying, you know,
it's a funny old world that we're living, isn't it? It's a strange time, I think, to be alive.
It's a challenging time to be alive. It's a very psychologically stressful time to be alive. The whole world is Western. The whole world is Western.
Yeah.
Culture is homogenized. You go to Thailand, you go to Malaysia. In Malaysia, on the street, there'll be a guy who owns nothing. He's selling fruit, but he will have an iPad and he will be ingesting MTV culture, MTV bass hip hop culture through the iPad whilst he sits on a scooter and nicks Wi-Fi from the hair salon that he stood outside of. So obviously we're at different economic levels, but culturally the homogenization is there. And we were talking about people being less religious in the car and how that would make the world an easier place. And I'm like, dude, it's inevitable. It's absolutely inevitable. When one generation, in your generation, 30-year-olds, do you know, who would genuinely, authentically and naively totally believe in religion? You might know, there might be like 1 in 1,000, if that. Nobody does. And
so what will become the religions of the next day?
Well,
something will have to replace it.
We have
Facebook.
We have pure hedonism, pure materialism. That's what we have now. As it's not a religion in the sense of, oh, this is a religious and spiritual belief, but it's a religion in the sense of this is what lives at the center of the tribal village. The headstone that should be of the god or the goddess, or the pillar is the computer, the mirror, the Instagram, the Facebook.
See, I've never understood why Instagram is as big as it is. I still can't get my head around. I can understand other things, Twitter and that they do something, but Instagram is literally a picture.
I don't understand Instagram or Twitter at all because they do less than what Facebook does. And for years, I've been like, why does anybody do it? But every business coach I've ever had says, you must do it. You have to go on there and you have to do it.
You do a lot of lives on Instagram.
In the last, since January, I've gone hard on like a lot of different avenues in the business that I would just let atrophy before. And Instagram is one of them. And I actually really like it now. It's a really, really good, fast, low intensity. It's not a serious place. It's a low intensity way of just sharing silly ideas, funny ideas, and people don't get pissy with you on there if you're not serious 24/7.
I thought Instagram was doing the whole body shaming thing, and that was all. I mean, I don't have Instagram.
Running low. Sorry, plug.
My battery's it's an old laptop, folks. Sorry about that. It's an old workhorse, so we're gonna need to plug him in.
Yeah,
damn.
The plug.
Plug right here.
Sorry, guys. We
I love this thing. It's a Republic of Gamers Asus, and I highly recommend if you ever do any video editing. It's a friggin' awesome bit of kit. I love these.
I like the light up buttons.
The light up buttons are cool, aren't they? Yeah. It's to make you feel like you're on a spaceship.
You do feel like you're on a spaceship.
But it's the video card that it runs because it's for playing Call of Duty and stuff. If you have like
you can play Call of Duty on a PC.
I've never done it. No, I would only ever play on the PS4, darling.
PlayStation. I haven't had a computer since I haven't had a console since I left university.
What do you mean? Like I know what you mean. Like a PS4 or something like that.
And I think it was only. I think the PS3 was coming out as I left university. I've never had a PS. I've only ever had a PS2,
Right. Well, I had a PS4 recently, and I'm glad I got rid of the fucker.
Well, Nina Jones says she doesn't get Snapchat. I don't understand Snapchat.
I haven't.
It's not that I don't understand them. I've logged onto them and stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do when I get on them.
Exactly. Why would you, like Gary Vaynerchuk is someone we follow just because of the self-development.
He's an Instagram man, isn't he?
He loves Instagram and he loves Snapchat. Don't get it. Don't get why I would want to put a picture of like horns on my head while I'm talking to someone.
Yeah, it's odd.
That doesn't need to see horns.
But a lot of that is odd, you know, like the whole filtering thing, and what you get. What I find interesting looking around as a psychologist and as a human being is what gets lots of likes and what gets lots of followers, and it doesn't always make first level superficial logical sense. So you then end up having to conclude, well, we're just not logical beings. We just why is a girl with a video that has a filter on it that makes her sound like a cartoon character with bunny rabbit ears, why is that getting 1 million likes?
I don't know. Never get my head around it. I can understand the distraction of it, but really, I don't get it. I don't.
There's an obsession with being different.
But is it being pushed? Like, is it that being pushed into everyone's feed? Are these numbers that we're reading actually real numbers?
That's what
no, but it's got to, you'd think it has to come from some sort of algorithm that they've worked out of what we want, don't you? So you can say we can say that they've deciphered what we want, and we're using what we've told them we want.
Yeah.
But I always get the feeling it's almost like trying to be a little bit weird and a little bit different. But as we keep going back to that, was it Freud's nephew or Freud's whatever, and then nephew who literally started the whole, not capitalism, but started that
public relations
and stuff. And then you go back to Zizek, and Zizek's quote is always, biggest trick capitalism ever played on us was making us believe there was an identity in mass marketing. So you're thinking you're not different. By trying to be different,
of course,
you're conforming.
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, that was always the way when everyone at school was dressed as a goth, and they think, "Oh, I'm so different," and you think, "Well, there's 40 of you."
Yeah.
I mean, I did pee in my pants. I'm different.
No, but they want us to be different.
You went there,
and they want
unique.
Yeah,
unique.
No, but they want us to be different, and they want us to come up with new ways of being different. Because when we do that, they can produce more things for us to buy.
And I don't understand is one part of your. No wonder in a mad world, one of them saying we're all together, we're all one, and the other one's saying be different and be unique. Can't do both.
No.
But how can you get that in your head as a child going, I've got to be unique and different, and on the other hand,
and that's the beginning of the fetishist split that we all live with, is you are forced into a double bind, you're forced into a catch-22, and we all do things all day every day that we know are complete bullshit.
Yeah,
we know it doesn't make sense, so who are we doing it for?
What do you do when you feel like bullshit with?
I just paid for a parking ticket. I'm going to go and I'm going to be a good boy and I'm going to pay again, but I know very well that in this weather there's no parking warden who's going to come around and check it.
Of course,
the chance of that is minuscule.
No, but I quite like it. You do that.
And it's a fear of retribution. I might be that 1 in 100 chance where I end up with, I don't know, a 30 quid fine. That's one example of things that we do.
But it's that not being a knobhead thing as well. You're doing that. You're not doing that thing that fucking John Terry and Justin Bieber, I'm me, I can do whatever the fuck I like attitude. I'll park on the double yellow lines in front of the fucking dentist where the person with a wheelchair can't get up there because I parked my wanker car there.
Yeah, there's a conscientiousness and a sense of social shame and social morality, and I do it because, I don't know, I guess I think the world will fall apart if I don't. But it was Zizek that came up with the idea of believing in things that nobody really believes in, and he gave the example of Santa Claus. The parents obviously know that Santa Claus isn't real. They're not insane because one of them dresses up as Santa Claus. The children are old enough to know that Santa Claus isn't real, but they don't want to disappoint the parents. So the parents don't want to disappoint the children don't want to disappoint the parents. And he says, this is pure ideology. This is how ideology functions in its purest form. And I'm like, damn, that's right, it is. We all know that it's horseshit. So who are we trying to trick? Who are we actually trying to fool? It's not the big other that, is it? I always get that right. You know sociology. That's why I ask him these questions.
Isn't that to do with like a little bit what's the guy walk down the street with no clothes on?
Walk down the street with no clothes on,
fable
guy.
What is it? Emperor's New Clothes.
Oh, right, the Emperor's New Clothes effect.
I wear it off on people, they can't remember names and streets and
stuff.
Like,
your mum did that to me the other day. She was hypnotizing me. I was like, I can't remember anything anymore. And I just go, the thingy, the fella with the ting and that. It's the Emperor's New Clothes effect. And it's also, there is this sense of an observer. And I think this is just part of human consciousness, where we think we're being watched, and then we feel like we need to be watched. So that can be dreadful. It can make you paranoid and being watched, but we love it.
But that's a good point. Is the overall thing is that to make us feel like we're always being watched, that feeling of terrified to do anything.
See, I've never got that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I understand why people do feel that way. I mean, I had a really good lecturer who he loved his, he'd come into a lecture and he'd go, does anyone know, I've walked from the middle of Newcastle and I'm now at Jesmond, I've walked past Jesmond Dean and now I'm in your lecture theatre. Do you know how many CCTV cameras I've walked past? Do you know how many people have walked past who have mobile phones? Do you know this? Do you know how many people are listening to me? And he'd spew all this stuff out. And you'd be thinking, but well, the only thing, half the class would be going, yeah, and half the rest of us would be going, what the fuck are you bothered about?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, this is where there's a lot of CCTV in this building, isn't there? This is like
this is a CCTV building, yeah.
Yeah. And we are we were the most watched nation in the world by a long way. It's something like a CCTV camera for every 9 citizens in the UK. Yeah. That's how many CCTV cameras we have.
How many, sorry?
It's 1 camera per 9 humans.
When do you feel like you're being watched when you walk down the road?
No, I don't think about it.
So, but you are. Like, you're literally being snapped all the fucking time. They're taking pictures of you the whole time.
So is that making you feel anxious then?
Not at all, because I know the security industry inside out. There's only some muppet looking at the screen. It's ignoring everything he needs to be looking at.
While he's watching porn. His phone.
Yeah, because he'll be watching his phone.
Yeah.
I know. I see it. I mean, he'll be looking at his phone. But no, and also I'm not doing anything wrong, so it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah. But I like to do naughty things while people watch.
What does worry me about is what we were discussing is that these filters and you guys will actually be able to tell us are getting so sophisticated that they'll almost be able to take someone else out of the video, put me in the video.
I'm sure they've been able to do that for a long time.
That's what's happened with Donald Trump. He's dead. Okay, he died a while ago.
I think the blue tie, red tie thing.
The blue tie, what's the blue tie, red tie thing?
The blue
this sounds good. I'm going to like this one.
The blue tie's not him. The blue tie is him. The red tie is his duplicate.
Where did you read this?
There is a paper that came out, wasn't it? They did that with
but his red tie isn't. The ties are different.
Yeah.
So if you look at, it's just the colouring. So the red tie is not meant to be him. The blue tie is meant to be the actual real one. And then he gets to go out now and again when he doesn't got to do anything normal. And it's in the mental one out. I mean, they're both pretty mental. But the other one is not meant to be him. I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying this is the theory.
But is that a body double? Is that the hypothesis? Or it's pure? See, my hypothesis is actually it's pure artificial intelligence.
No. Yeah, either that or
CGI.
Or clone, that sort of thing. So they're not the same people. There's 2 of everyone. Have you ever seen the video of Bill Clinton when they put the makeup on him and he's sitting like this?
No.
Actually, I have seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Have you ever seen Beyonce when she's doing this?
No.
When she's watching the hockey, she's doing this, and then Jay-Z whispers in her ear and she stops it. And then there's there's loads of them.
Why is she doing that?
Because she's off her trolley. She's doing this.
It's like an ADHD thing or something.
No, but she's not with it. If you watch it, and then
is she even watching the she's just
she's zoned out completely.
There's
quite a lot of these. Did you ever see Lady Gaga when she tries to get in the Mercedes out? She crawls along the floor, all spindly. Oh, it's so bizarre. I mean, he's
like a creepy little monster from a horror movie.
Yeah, not in a sex way.
No, I wasn't going there. Damn.
No.
So judgy, but
what's the theory though? Is it just weird shit?
Clones. They're not either compartmentalization through trauma, sexual trauma as kids, or they're just clones of them.
Wasn't her priest?
Guys, these are not my theories. These are things I found on the internet, and everything on the internet's real.
I knew I'd like the red tie, blue tie theory.
Red tie, blue tie theory is cool.
I was watching Donald Trump a few months ago and he was chatting, and then he said, he returned to the camera and he goes, and of this situation, this is the reality. And there was a pause and I went, oh, it's not reality. He's just told me it's not real. Donald Trump just gave me a message into my mind in my house so I could know, so I could see the truth. And I've come here today to tell all you people the truth. Take the red pill. Wake up, brothers and sisters. Rise up.
You sound like Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Exactly.
Really? Rise up, brothers and sisters. What was sit on my knee?
What was the thing back in the day? I think around just as probably you were 10.
Move your mouth close to the mic.
When you were about 10, it just popped into my memory. Was it Coke, but we're doing subliminal messages and adverts?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So is there a possibility they're doing something now that no one's figured out yet? Because it took them a while to figure out the Coke we're doing that, didn't it?
Yeah, could be that we're doing one now.
Fuck yeah, we are.
I've got you in here to do a
What do you think?
message.
When people start talking like this, I actually do depersonalize, and I think it takes me back to my acid trips where I become convinced that everything wasn't real. So keep going. Let's see what happens to me.
Where's
I'll see if I have a total.
Has one of us turned into Pan
Where's
already?
Pan?
He would be Pan.
Who's Pan?
Have you turned into
No,
Pan?
Pan Genitor, the god. I was once chased by Pan through the woods in Bromborough.
Were you?
I was.
Oh, he's known to do
But he was
that.
actually quite nice.
Was he? Well, he caught you.
Well, he was angry with me for disrespecting the sacred land of the woods. I was tripping balls.
What were you? How were you just you going for a wee?
No, I was taking drugs in the woods, and he was like, "You've not asked permission. There's no libations, and how dare you?" And then he came at me and he chased
There's
me.
little signs up that say "Don't trip in the
Don't
woods."
trip balls in the woods, you decadent perverts. And so then I went to hide in a church, St. Andrew's.
You went from Bromborough Wood to St Andrews.
Oh, dude, there's a story there.
Well, you went from Bromborough Wood to St Andrews, and at the same time, you couldn't remember if you were meant to cross the road when the cars were coming or cross the road when the cars weren't.
I don't know how I live.
How the fuck did you get to St Andrews? It's a fucking long way.
It's a long way, and worse, I met two punks on the way. And I went up to them and I was like, guys, I am really tripping balls on acid. You look like you also have taken it. And they're like, well, yeah, we have. So what can I do?
I love that. You look like you've done what I've done.
Yeah. And one of them went, I actually have. And I said, is there anything I can do to make this not as bad? And he said, well, I read once vitamin C helps. And I was like, so are you and all of you saying I should drink orange juice? And he went, yeah. So I did all that with a can of cartons of orange juice covered, because I was like, where's my mouth? Does it go in my ears? Ear? What's the word ear mean? Do I have an ear? Who is who? Crossed the road, nearly got run over. Went and hid in St. Andrew's Church, and the full revelations of the Bible were given to me. I was happy about that. So thank you very much for that. That was useful.
I do like the idea of you stepping into the road, stepping out the road, stepping into the road, stepping out the road. Should have crossed now. Cars are coming.
Don't do
acid.
Don't do psychedelics for trauma healing until you've exhausted every other option.
Western Truth says, we've got some conspiracy type people. I like this. Western Truth TV says, social media products are designed to be both a painkiller and a supplement. Probably. Yeah,
that's good.
That.
So
at least a taste.
Yeah.
In both ways.
So is he saying they are doing subliminal messages?
Yeah, designed to be both a painkiller and a supplement. And it's kind of like, I don't know.
There is something I found.
But you're not surfing or playing sport when you're on the internet, are you? So you're not enjoying yourselves, are you?
Surfing?
No, just because that's like that's like the extreme, version of someone who's just so chilled but in nature, and I think and stuff. That's my that to me that's the extreme of being away from the internet.
Except in California where they have surf rage because they've too many of them to fit in the waves.
Yeah,
there's a problem there now.
Surf rage.
Oh yeah, they fight.
What about getting in the sea?
No, to be fair, Callum said where he was surfing it wasn't too bad.
No, where we were was nice, but south of us apparently it gets a bit rough. They get out the water and have a little boxing match.
Do they?
Yeah. Like if you steal my wave, bro, it's not cool, bro. I had a point to make and it's gone. What was it? Oh, the other day I was on the one of the smartphone thing, and I did notice that there is my Instagram usage is I look at a lot of dogs, and I was looking at a
you look at a lot of dogs.
I like dogs, the canines, like the creatures.
I get it. I just not
ask him what specific dog he likes.
Basset.
I like huskies. Yeah. I can't have one because it's cruel to have a husky because it's supposed to be out running for 90 miles a day and you're not supposed to have it a house dog, but I like them. So I was watching a video of a husky making a noise, and I caught myself doing this when I should have been working, and the husky is sad and it looks at the camera and it goes, oh, and it's sad.
Yeah.
And I got something from that and I watched it 5 times in a row and I went, you're supposed to be a self-aware psychologist. What the fuck are you doing with your life? And I was like, the dog, it made a noise. It's cute and it's sad that it had blue eyes. Pretty dog, pretty. And I was like, what's happening?
You're kind of reverting back to like a toddler.
Kind of, but there's a dopamine release I'm getting. I'm actually getting something. It feels good to watch the dog go, with a sad face.
You like the conspiracy theories as well?
Yeah. Do you know what they do for me? I like them because they come out really London. I liked them.
I like them. They're all right.
Yeah, I liked them. They're all right. They just keep me busy.
Do you like the new one about
South Africa for no reason?
Like the new one about the Facebook adverts.
I like the new one about the Facebook adverts.
So we did a test on YouTube. You can watch it. None of them have got any pets. They all put their phones in the middle of the table and they talk about pet food for about an hour and a half while we have dinner. No pets, never searched on Google, never searched for anything. All of them log on to Facebook and Twitter and whatever else we logged on, and all their adverts have changed to adverts about pet food.
No way. So it can Facebook can hear you even though you're not logged into Facebook.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I realised my friends have got what's the Amazon thing when you say please turn on music?
Alexa, Siri. Alexa.
Always listening to you. Because we were at a party and someone shouted something and she started talking, and if they weren't speaking to it.
Oh,
I haven't got one because I don't like the idea of having something to shout at in the corner. Yeah. I've got
a wife.
I've got a wife. Just or me being shouted at in the corner. I think
Richard, you've been bad.
Yeah.
Get the cane.
Searching for canes.
Can't. Hitting. Abuse. I don't have one of them, but I know what you mean. I find them quite disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think there's something to that, because me and Anna had that experience a couple of times. My sister in California were talking about stuff, random stuff, like balloons for a children's party, and then we got the bloody adverts coming up, and it's there's no way. We didn't search on the phone for it. We just spoke about it.
My wife did it. Hates football. Fucking hates football. And then we were all sat around talking about a Liverpool game for about an hour until my friends' wives arrived. And she goes on her phone and there's adverts for football stuff. She's never searched for anything football in her whole fucking life.
I did have a period of about 6 months where I do not know why it wasn't listening to me, but I'm sure Facebook had incorrectly algorithmed me as a single Muslim woman, because it kept on giving me Muslim men dating sites. Do you want to date a Muslim? And I was like, I don't want to date any men, actually. So could you stop this? Don't need any Islamic dating apps. Not looking for a good Muslim man right now, and I'm not in my early 20s. But
so
thanks.
It was. So when you were early 20s, you were well up for it.
Well, if I was an early 20s Muslim lady, I would have been. But me in my early 20s, yeah, definitely. Totes. That's what
you wouldn't have known. You'd taken so much acid, would you?
I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. I'd have just been like, yeah, whatever, man. That's cool.
Pan
chasing you through the woods. Who is Pan? Let's explain who this Pan is.
You don't know Pan. Don't offend Pan.
You've not met Pan.
Oh well, I might have done. I don't know who I'm looking for.
Pan is you know the image of the devil that we have, Satan. Right? If I say Satan to you, what does he look like?
Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile, right? So Jimmy Savile is Pan. No, wait. The Satan with the horns and the cloven hooves.
Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile, right?
Yeah,
purely Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
That's
with the hooves.
Satan has hooves, dude.
No, he's fucking angry. He can't pick up anything.
Hooves, little tail, kind of looks like a fawn. You know the fawn from Narnia? Yes,
yeah.
He loves fawns.
I always think of fucking Futurama, the devil in that. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Well, they took one of the major religious figures in for the Celts in the British Isles, which is Pan. He had other names as well, or he would just be referred to as the Good Man or the Green Man.
He's a bit Loki-esque as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, to the extent of like there was, because in that worldview, nature would be seen as so powerful and so all consuming that it's kind of chaotic. Like the force of life is chaotic and can't be constrained, like Loki, the trickster. And he was a bit naughty. Pan is a bit of a naughty character, a bit of a naughty god. So the Christians came along and said, that's the opposite God. That's the devil, the evil, the evil. The evil. That's the opposite. We don't want that one. Do not fucking worship anymore. We really like him. Can't we keep him? Because sometimes they would let us keep different gods, but Pan they did not like. He had to go. So Pan, our image of medieval times and image of the devil is Pan. That's Pan. It's another god from another religion.
So would that be something they've written into Peter Pan, or is that just a linguistic accident?
I don't know with Peter Pan.
Meant to be a nod towards it.
Well, he wears green and he is eternally youthful.
Who wrote Peter Pan? Was that the paedophile guy?
Oh, that's opened up a well call.
That really has. And I don't.
Does Johnny Depp play him in a film?
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, no.
Careful now. You can't just say the paedophile guy and then follow that with Johnny Depp.
No, Johnny Depp played him in a film, didn't he? I think.
Just push all these concepts. Push them all out.
It was. I know you mean. He wrote Alice in Wonderland. That guy.
Yeah. Am I getting him mixed
Lewis
up?
Carroll.
Why is he a paedophile now?
Well, he wasn't. He
did
did some quite risque paintings of children dressed as adults.
And the three kids that he looked after from another two people's children. all killed themselves.
Oh, Jesus.
That's why Alice in Wonderland, even more so than
I'm sure he wrote Peter Pan as well.
liking it a lot.
Right.
Is weird.
It is weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
Alice
I think he did.
I'm sure he wrote Peter Pan as well, because I'm sure
I didn't know
Kate
that.
Winslet's in the film as well.
Yeah, Robin Williams is in it as well, isn't he? In one of the versions of Pan.
Yeah.
So no, they made a film, Kate Winslet and Johnny Depp, about writing Peter Pan.
Finding Neverland?
Yeah. And it sort of touches on it halfway through the film, but it doesn't really. It sort of brushes over it.
Peter Pan is he's like an imp. He's an imp character. Yeah, probably is Pan. Probably is Pan.
That's what I thought. These things, sort of Hollywood especially, is very good at sneaking these things in.
Yeah. Now you know who
and
Pan
the word
is.
deadpan comes from because the devil is never happy. And you tell him a joke and he just.
You are blagging. No, don't listen to him. He's got that look in his eye.
Yeah, but you don't know. It might be true.
I want it to be true. That sounds cool. I'm going to use that.
Sound good, doesn't it? Just tell everyone.
I will.
Yeah, no, can call.
Deadpan because the devil doesn't like a joke.
Yeah.
Pan or the goat is the son of Dark Mother, says Annie Brito. So Pan,
are you a witch?
Shut up.
I didn't ask that. We'll ask that.
Tell us about your pagan life.
What? Yeah.
Also,
she might make her own clothes as well.
Give us a reading. Go on.
Robert Pukey Ray. Robert Pukey Ray.
Hi, Robert Ray.
Peter Pan has been compared to the nature Pan, so there must be something to do with nature.
Yeah.
So, what does Pan mean then?
Well,
does it mean devil?
No, I just told you what it was.
Spaced out for a bit there.
You fucking did. I was like, Richard's mouth is moving. I'm just going to think about what I'm having for tea tonight. Spent 5 minutes, didn't I? Giving him a bloody anthropology and a religious theosophical lecture, and he didn't listen to a word I said.
Your voice went up and down when you're being, turn
Yeah.
I was about to do
Pan. You explained it was the devil, the one that they didn't want around.
The etymology of the word pan. I don't know. I don't know what where the word pan comes from. But probably at the time where he was big, he probably wasn't called that.
Which big, popular.
It was big, man. Well, gods came and went those days.
They did, yeah.
Granin. There is a god called Granin.
Really?
That's not where my name comes from. It comes from Reynolds, but it just happens to be this weird coincidence. Who was a Pan type figure, and he was actually, Reynolds is Renaud, is the same root as Renaud. They were French knights, and they were Renaud, Ranol. They moved to Ireland. They became Mac Ranol, which became Mac.
Your dad's side.
Sorry,
your dad's side, obviously.
Well,
I know that.
Flipping tit.
So your dad was born. Your dad was born. Where was your dad born again? I don't remember.
Yes, but the history of your name goes back longer than where your father. Like my father could have been born in Germany.
No, but I thought your dad's side was from that side of the world.
What side of the world?
Like east. I thought that.
East.
Mother might have been filling my head with shit.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah.
What side of the world did you think I was from, William?
No, I know what side you were from, but I thought your dad was born in Pakistan and knew that. But I thought it was some tenuous link with his family. My mum was filled my head full of shit.
His dad was stationed in Pakistan.
Fucking mother.
Oh well, in India. He was stationed in India for years, because back in those days, if you got stationed under the British Raj, you could be there for 7 years.
Right, okay.
Interesting story with them actually, because they got married and then Paddy was sent to Rawalpindi, which was India, now Pakistan, in the Punjab.
Right.
And they didn't see each other for the first 7 years of their marriage.
Didn't they?
7 years of separation. I mean, it's a fucking long way to get.
See, that's what you want. You want 7 years in, then don't see her for 7 years.
Yeah, that's great. Then you would miss her and sit. I hope your girlfriend or wife isn't watching this. I hope your girlfriend and wife isn't watching this. I don't have one. I can't be in trouble. You guys don't want to. What I heard them say, ladies, is they don't want to see their wives for 7 years.
I never said that.
If I could get that in writing with a signature.
I was just thinking I'd miss her more.
Ah, yes. I'm sure you would. There is no. My father's not Pakistani.
No, I know your father's not Pakistani, but from what you know what my mum's like, I thought from what she told me, there was your dad's dad was like
there is
something.
There is allegedly they might.
So your mum's put something crazy in my mum's head.
You can say the word Tuesday to your mother and she invents some mad story about it. There is the possibility of a tenuous link to something Eastern in that they might be maybe a bit Roma,
right?
But
okay.
that is you're talking. That might be upwards of 1,000 years ago, because the Roma people allegedly come from India originally.
Right.
I mean, but that's a hell of a stretch. I don't see any. I mean, other than that, some of them in that family look a little bit Roma. But do you know about the Romas? It's from we discussed this. They're from India. Roman. He's tuning out again. He's not listening.
I'm listening to a full sentence, and then I'm going to decide whether
vegetables.
I am.
Do you remember we discussed where Romani gypsies come from?
Yes.
And it's not Romania, even though the dialect crosses over confusingly. It's actually Indian. Originally. But no, that's not true. No, they're Irish.
Natalie Data says Alan Watts speaks about the total disappearance of privacy if computers carry on developing. Eventually, we won't be able to think privately. But there must be stealing your thoughts. That's a little bit. What's that in Minority Report?
Yeah,
bit like that.
A little bit like that. I would say yes, but we will go there willingly. We're already willingly.
I think we're willingly doing
thoughts.
anything. I think that's the problem reaction solution thing. What we've said is that you make it seem like a good idea to do this. Give this away. It's in your best interests.
I should tag myself as to where I am now and who I'm with, because that's good social media usage.
Remember the test you used to be able to do so maybe 15, 16 years ago, I was in school, we used to do you could do a test. If you had the very first email, you could send an email that had loads of buzzwords in, and you could clock it, and it would take 20 seconds to get to your mate's email. And then you'd send another email, and it would be just a, hi mate, how are you? And it would take 5 seconds to get to your mate's email address when he sat next to you. So you put all the buzzwords in, you put Bush 9/11, blah, 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 blah. Time it.
Is that true?
Time it. Doesn't work anymore, but you used to be able to time it. I think it must have been 15 or 16 because I was taking my GCSEs.
Yeah, I didn't even get on the internet until I was about 21. So that was probably about 2001. Didn't really understand what it meant.
In 1996, when I started my psychology degree, they said, we've given you an email account. And I went, what's that? I swear to you, I had no idea. I knew not what an email was. And they asked me to do a dissertation. I said, I'll write it for you. And they said, we don't accept written dissertations anymore. You have to type it.
Geez, I still way back then.
Sorry?
Oh, way back then you couldn't write.
I wasn't allowed to submit my dissertation in writing. It had to be done print.
Yeah.
So that was hunt and peck. I would hunt and peck to write dissertations because I just didn't use computers.
No, I didn't know at that time. Didn't really understand what it was all about. And it's strange, isn't it? It's not that long ago.
No.
17 years ago?
Yeah. For you, yes. For me, many
moons.
years ago.
So let's have a look at some of these questions. Let's have it down. We have trying to... apparently Charles Dodson, who wrote Alice in Wonderland, was interested in... I thought Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland. Photographing prepubescent girls. He was obsessed with little girls.
Charles Dodson wrote Alice in Wonderland.
I thought it was Lewis Carroll who wrote Alice in Wonderland.
I've never heard of Charles Dodson.
I can't pronounce. I've never heard of Charles Dodson either.
I didn't.
Do we need to Google that?
Well, there's a smartphone right there.
Try Google it. I thought, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not massively into that stuff.
Alice in Wonderland.
Adolescent, but apparently this is what I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name or woman's name or lady's name. It's XI Echo. Says Charles Dodson, who wrote Alice in Wonderland, was interested in photographing prepubescent girls. He was obsessed with little, as in he spelt it as if the shopping centre. Girls, one of who was named A, and then it cuts off.
Oh right, just might have hit send too early. Thank God. I don't need to know any more about that story.
We were going down a rabbit hole.
There is definitely something along them lines anyway. Someone says introduce Will. Introduce Mr. Man Will. He hasn't introduced himself yet. And
he's a fucking mystery. Who's Will? I did introduce him at the beginning. I did Mongolian throat chanting to introduce you to.
Do it again.
Was that Mongolian throat chanting?
No, because I don't know how to do that. That is your introduction.
Amy Lewis Carroll was a pseudonym for Charles Dodson.
Thank you.
So it wasn't. Thank you for that, Amy M. So that was the same person.
Right,
but that was his writing name.
Okay,
I didn't know that. That's so that was he did. He liked to paint pictures of prepubescent young people dressed as adults in weird.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay, so paedophile was right. I said you shouldn't say paedophile. That was pretty pedophilic.
It's not good, is it?
A bit noncy.
Touch of la nonce.
Yeah.
Well, a nonce right on the back. It's an original nonce. Is that an original nonce? No, it's definitely a copy. It's a printout. You printed that off your printer.
You printed this nonce out. He's a fake nonce.
I don't know where we're going with this, to be honest.
It only ended in a bad place.
It only ended in a bad place. Yeah, so that was Lewis Carroll's, but there's a lot of that going on, a lot of obviously the checkerboards and all of that sort of stuff. If you look into
It's all a bit Illuminati and mind control, yeah.
It's all a bit odd. And it always has that kind of, it's always creepy. There's always this darkness to anything like that. It's weird, creepy darkness that I just find disturbing.
That didn't creep me out, but the cat in the hat creeps me out.
Doesn't he repeat things from who is he quote quite a lot?
The cat in the hat. I can't remember your quotes, but the idea of an adult cat sneaking into a house and playing with children, I just think is weird.
With his magical hat.
What does he do? I don't know. I know he's
just an adult cat that manages to find his way into a house and play with young children.
I'm not sure
That's
quite
fucking weird.
I'm not sure it's quite as sinister as that.
It's weird.
Who's in your house? An adult cat who's snuck in. Yeah. Who's walking on his fucking hind legs like a human.
It's all a bit odd.
Well, all kids stuff is, and I think it probably always has been. The Hans Christian Andersen stories are a bit creepy, and original like stories that were read to kids are pretty violent and odd and graphic.
They always are.
It's dark.
But what wasn't my dad's and my mum's and your mum's generation, we used to do there was a cartoon apparently that guys who were tripping on acid had made.
Oh yeah, Magic Roundabout.
Yeah.
Don't fucking help him. He's got to learn, right? He's got to learn to use that fucking bit of meat he's got stuck in between his ears. Have to deal with this all. It's like, thingy with the lads, and they went, hey, and then the other fella came down and he went,
finished it.
I got it.
You finished it off.
Yeah, the Magic Roundabout.
The Magic Roundabout will wheel. That's the sound. That's the sound of Will's brain tapering off into the end. We should probably finish in the next few minutes.
Yeah, we'll finish in the next few minutes. A good question here, though. Where has that gone now? Were you, Richard and Will, were you ever by Hermit Elf, which is very good. We've had Hermit Elf before.
We've had it, yeah.
We've had Hermit Elf, and we are well up for more. Were you ever tempted to believe in any supernatural stuff, like any form of magic? I'm not talking Paul Daniels. He chopped his finger off.
Fuck off.
He did. Before he died. Not right before he died. About a few years before he died, he chopped his finger off.
Because he fucked up a trick.
He owed a debt to his Yakuza boss. You're like,
yeah.
Take that.
He did. He chopped his finger off.
What a tit.
I really liked Jonathan Creek. Are they not going to know what Jonathan Creek is, are they?
Does anyone know I know Jonathan Creek is. I've heard it. It's a TV show.
Yeah, very
American
English show.
Not know.
No, but if you don't know, go and watch every episode.
Do
it's
not
brilliant.
Waste your life with such fucking drivel.
Brilliant.
Does it do with magic, is it?
No.
Yeah,
it was.
Okay. I'm not answering the question. Will has said he doesn't believe in magic. I will plead the fifth on this one.
I don't know why you want to plead the fifth.
That means you're right to remain silent. Is that what it means?
Yes.
Why didn't you? I don't. So you do, but you don't want to say you do.
I would rather not answer that question, Senator.
That's what you say. What the magic is?
It depends on what you mean by the word "the." I did not have sex with that woman, Monica Lewinsky.
Fell onto my penis under the desk.
With her mouth, her mouth was open because she said, "Oh, I am falling forward," and then my penis fell out of my pants into the back of her throat, Your Honor.
Again and again.
Over and over. Over and over, Your Honor.
And then underneath, at the very end, I was very tired and went for a nap.
I struggled to remove Miss Lewinsky from my penis, Your Honor. I could not. We engaged in a struggle. The rhythmic motions of said struggle, I think my accent's moved further south now, said rhythmic actions of that struggle ended in my issuance into her throat, as it were.
Your Honor.
Sir, Your Honor. Stop it.
So we don't believe in magic.
I do. Ha ha, so what?
I'm not saying you.
I'll fight you.
I'm not sure I believe you can be hypnotized.
I like going to watch magic shows.
Oh, well, no, I mean, they mean literally and naively believe in magic. I do.
What, like card tricks?
For fuck's sake.
That's tricks. The difference between tricks and magic.
Don't answer him.
No, I'm just winding him up. It'll explode. It'll explode in a minute. Keep poking it and it'll go off.
To provoke me. I've been dealing with this for years. He's best ignored. Best ignored when he's like this.
Do you believe in black magic?
I believe that you shouldn't engage in black magic.
What about Ouija
because
boards?
it will hurt you. Ouija boards is probably nonsense and suggestion.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I came home from work once and I specifically asked my housemates not to do a Ouija board. When you've got to ask them not to do one while you're at work, you probably shouldn't be living with these people. So I come back and they've all done a Ouija board and pissed off to the pub. And I'm like, oh, now I'm in the house on my own.
Yeah.
And there's a Ouija board out and I don't know what to do now. And I'm not prepared for this.
You shouldn't play with the spirits, man. You shouldn't play with the spirits. Even if you don't believe, you shouldn't play with the spirits. Never even jokingly.
No, I wouldn't even ever go. My dad did it once and he said it really disturbed him. So I wouldn't have a go at that. There was when I was young, I was told about some adults were telling us about why are they telling you these things as kids? They did it and all the windows smashed in their house apparently.
No, that's bullshit.
Well, they live in Norfolk, probably should get the windows done. They're Scottish.
They're Scottish. Fuck, I'm trying to get them out. Back to Scotland, you bastards.
We only did it 2 or 3 times. I used to like to do it and I'd go, wang. Because
I have no doubt that is literally something he did. I don't even think he's saying that as a joke. I think he actually did that.
And then they'd only realise like halfway through, they'd all be going, oh, where's the next letter going to go? K.
Oh, it's like countdown. Yeah. Isn't it? When she gets like sperm written in countdown, you're like, oh, that's the best.
You like that?
Yeah.
Let's have one more question.
Okay, one more question. We'll wrap this up. We need to get some food and some heroin.
The best heroin in Norwich.
Yeah. Which is just sure.
Do you think he's done heroin? I reckon old Bill.
Oh, I reckon he made it.
He made the heroin.
He came up with the heroin.
He chased the dragon, or do you reckon he injected?
I reckon he's cokehead. He's massively off of his.
Yeah. All the things.
All of the things. I think it's kind of like it's part and parcel of being the president, isn't it?
He doesn't come across as a very nice man, does he?
No, I don't. Well, I didn't. It was the whole thing there. It was shipping it here and shipping it there. It was all of that stuff.
As it went past in a big plane, he just have a little. What? You're all right. On you go.
That's all right.
It's all right. Another long day at the office.
That lady might fall on my lap again. Got to be prepared. There's not many questions. There's just kind of people saying
statements.
What the hell are you talking about?
We have no idea.
I want to talk about post-traumatic stress.
This is giving me post-traumatic stress disorder.
What is this nonsense?
What is this gibberish? Off the table into the air.
Okay, guys, we will. Thank you for listening. We've still got 150 people.
Ask a question.
Okay,
put a question mark,
question.
Not a statement.
Do a question, and then we'll answer one more question. Then we'll.
Do we like oranges? Dinner. No.
Your lad's up for getting some birds later in Norwich. Fozzie B. He's got a spanner in front of it. I like the idea.
We finished at 10, yeah. So we'll see you on the Prince Wales. What is this road called of decadence?
It's called the Prince of Wales Road. We're kind of around the back of Prince of Wales Road, which sounds more skanky.
We'll see you in Mojo's later, kid.
Yeah, you lads up for some birds later. Right. What's Will's accent? That's a question.
Scouse.
There you go. Tell us a joke.
But actually, to be fair, any Scouser would say, I do not have a Scouse accent.
You do have a Scouse accent.
I know I have a Scouse accent.
And Scousers need to get over it. They go, no, you're a fucking wool.
They'll go, no, you're a fucking wool, lad, and you need to fucking know. You don't have a fucking Scouse accent, lads. You don't. You're fucking lying.
You do when you
don't.
What are
you going on about, boy?
There's a whole thing.
Can Scousers whisper?
I think they can all speak German.
Andy?
How would you whisper in Scouse?
I don't know. No, you can't do it, can you?
Have you got any beak on you? No, you can't. Have you got any beak on you, lad? You can do like a low husky. Hey.
Oh, you could do like a Toxteth Scouse.
Hey, you got that beak on you, lad. Do as it for us
sounds
now.
Aggressive. It sounds like you want.
It is aggressive, yeah.
Even
I want a vanilla latte, and I want you to make it foamy. Right? You hear me, lad?
Yeah.
Right. You do that for me, vanilla latte. It's just a latte. But suddenly it's creepy and weird.
Suddenly it sounds like it's going to be very hot and you're going to frown in my face.
I don't want any sugar in it, all right? Because I'm on a diet. What's my weight? Will you do that for me, lad? You know me, don't you, lad? You know how I like it, don't you, lad? Scary, isn't it?
It's terrifying.
It's fucking terrifying. I used to have to deal with that all the time. people come to the door and go, "Can I come in?" And I go, "No, because you're wearing a tracksuit and there's a restaurant."
Yeah.
No, you can't.
You're on fire.
Yes, you're on blaze. And I'd be like, "Why can't I come in? You know me, don't you, lad?" "I don't know you." "You do. You fucking do. You know me, lad." "I don't know you. I don't wish to know you. Off you shall fuck."
Yes. Next time you come back, I will know you of the man that was burning last time because you will be
Then
scarred.
I will know you.
Yes, then
At
I will
this
know
moment, I do not.
you. Let's build up a relationship first, and then you can come in with
Have
your
some
burning
rapport
questions.
with me. Yeah? Damn you. You bloody gangsters. You don't
Bloody
put the work in. That's what it is.
Not like the old gangsters. Right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Guys, do you want to just tell them where they can hear the podcast, the Strength of Mind podcast?
YouTube, SoundCloud, and I can put it back up on the website as well if you'd really like to.
Just search Strength of Mind on YouTube or SoundCloud, and you will find all of our gibberings there within.
I would turn this off, but you've got it in open. He's opened it in another browser.
Oh, he's terribly upset about this browser thing.
Right. We'll see you at 5 for the
Toot, toot,
But not all of
Richard
you
does
unless
this
you
bit.
pay.
See you at 5.
And then 8 o'clock this evening on Spartan Life Coach YouTube
To be
page.
the free-for-all.
We will be doing the free-for-all. Doesn't all have to be sensible, but probably a little bit more sensible than this one.
This was gibberish.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, Mum.